In 1848, a crowd of 300 people, both men and women, attended the Seneca Falls Convention in New York. At this time, women couldn't vote or own property. There were a lot of flaws in the political state of America that built up before the Seneca Convention that led to the first women's rights movement. Seneca Falls was a result of years of activism and laying the groundwork. This dates back to the American Revolution, as it was all about liberty and equality. This made people start to think about women and how they weren't seen as equal, yet this is what everybody fought for from 1775 to 1783. Early reformers questioned women's traditional roles and why women weren't seen as equals, or why women were limited in what they could do. By the 1830s, the abolitionist movement was emerging, and as the fight for slavery went on, the Grimke sisters, more widely known as the Grimke sisters, Sarah and Angelina, saw the contradiction in fighting for the freedom of slaves while ignoring the oppression of women. They saw that fights for freedom and equality were going on, yet the way America was back then, they still denied freedom and equality for the population of women. In 1840, there was an anti-slavery convention in London that was meant to fight oppression, but ironically didn't allow women to attend or participate. And abolitionists saw the connection between oppression and rights, or lack thereof, for both women and slaves, and decided to speak up about the two struggles and how they relate to each other. The Grimke sisters, along with inspired activists like Elizabeth Stanton and I don't know how to say her name. Lucretia, I don't know. They decided to write the Declaration of Sentiments, which was inspired by the Declaration of Independence. Now, in this declaration, they basically called out all of the contradictions of the Declaration of Independence, and how basic rights were being denied, and that they can't pick and choose what rights to grant to women when written in the Declaration of Independence. These were unalienable rights, and they shouldn't apply to just men, but women as well. These were rights that were granted to all. They used the same structure of the Declaration of Independence against them, demanding the rights to vote and equal access to education, jobs, marriage, and property rights. They wanted to say in every aspect of their life, essentially. Now, after this convention, there were mixed reactions in the news and the newspapers. Some would mock the convention, and others would give props to the attendees and the abolitionists and activists. But the major turning point for this in particular was a specific editor. His name is Horace Greeley. I think that's how you say his name. Let me see. Yes, Horace Greeley. And he was the founder of the New York Tribune, which was really popular at the time. Now, he wrote about this convention, and he was kind of on the line about this. Like, he wasn't too sure how he felt about it, and basically all of his thoughts were in the public eye, and he would go back and forth in public about this in his papers. And his public thoughts sparked a national conversation and debates, and really brought a lot of attention to the convention. Now, the last thing impact that Seneca Falls had was that it ignited a movement that gave women a voice and platform to speak and lament their grievances. The Seneca Falls Convention of 1848 was the pivotal moment in history as it formed and shaped the trajectory of women's rights and really brought us to where we are today with women's rights. And had this event not taken place, there basically would have been major delays on things like women's suffrage and seeing women's rights as fundamental human rights rather than anything separate from that. And it also would have made social and political reforms overlooked and deemed less effective, and we would just be moving at a slower pace in general with anything relating to women's rights. However, with this event, we were able to gain our rights and equality in areas like politics, family education, jobs, religion, morals, equal pay, reproductive rights, and even seeing more women in leadership. This event went way beyond just fighting for women's suffrage, but fought for so much more. And had this not taken place, we would have had to pull a lot more weight later on down the historical timeline.